Shredder's Revenge is out, and that is great, not only for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans, but for beat-em-up enjoyers. You and I would want there to be more beat-em-ups, but companies don't really dare to invest in them given how the genre has been dead for years. Plus, it's a very hard type of game to design and develop, and then critics come out and bash it because it's just not long enough, which is an incredibly stupid argument, but more on that later. Nowadays, partly thanks to Streets of Rage 4's success, there is hope for new releases to ride the beat-em-up wave. However, it's still way too early before we can call this a resurgence, and while reviewers are very quick to praise this very good game, that doesn't necessarily help us get more quality games in the long run, especially if the criticism they offer is, the game is good, but I played it twice in 5 hours and I already seen everything. It's important to understand the kind of product that we're looking at before we judge it like it's just another game. An arcade game is not supposed to be long. You're supposed to play multiple times and chase the high. You're gonna chase the high of getting better and farther on a single credit. These games come out once in a blue moon. We cannot get sloppy with the reception. I've identified 4 flaws in this game. Let's go through them so that we'll know what to do in order to get better beat-em-ups released. The taunt mechanic. It's bad. I was excited to see the taunt actually doing something. It fills up your special bar, which in story mode can go up to 3 bars, but is limited to 1 bar in arcade mode, which is the one we'll consider in order to form a proper opinion of the actual game. While I initially enjoyed Donatello whipping out his Game Boy in front of the enemies, it quickly became a nightmare of repetitiveness. I was allowed to abuse the taunt not only during boss fights, but also in between enemy groups, effectively making dead time even slower.
Just a minute!
The game would greatly benefit by this mechanic being overhauled. I would like to see the taunt only work when there's enemies on screen, for example, or not fill up the entire special bar. And I would like for the enemy to actually acknowledge the taunt and react to it. Anything but this current nonsense, because as the game is right now, the way I find myself playing to enjoy the game the most is to literally unbind the taunt button. Try it. It's way more fun. By the way, you can get special meter filling up by juggling dead enemies. There's a lot of bosses in this game. They're all different, and that is very cool. They also mostly don't have the super armor like in Streets of Rage 4, but there's a big problem here. Many of them are just a waiting game. They'll go away for a while, and finally you can attack them for a brief period of time. I found this cool at first for 1 or 2 bosses, you know, to keep the fights varied, but later I realized that was an overused gimmick. Too many bosses have that, and I wasn't having the most fun waiting around for the boss to come back. Also, by the way, please click the like button to help spread this video out to more people. It might just get us a better patch and a better beat-em-up experience. Now, one specific part of the moveset in Shredder's Revenge has a huge problem. Let me say first that I really appreciate the moveset in this game. There's a lot to it, and it feels good. The variety of a moveset is absolutely irrelevant to the quality of beat-em-up though, and usually less is more. So let's move on to the throws. Throws and grabs in this game are horrible. If you try using them, you'll be punished during it and right after as well. As throws and grabs have no invincibility frames, no iframes, none at all. This is obviously too much, and it's most apparent when you fight the Chrome Dome boss. While we're at it, I find stage 13 here to be the most boring in the game. Endless flow of rock soldiers. Throws went from being the strongest thing you could do in the old game to a very situational thing, only good for single enemies. Special moves can suffer from the same kind of problem, albeit to a lesser degree. Donatello, who's very weak in this game, by the way, can be punished right after his standing special. Luckily, just like the taunt mechanic, this is another easy fix, so we can hope for a balanced patch that will just add a few iframes to these animations, or just decide that throws must suck, and at least tone down the Chrome Dome fight though, because this is just too much. Another reason why I found myself getting punished a lot for using certain moves in this game was the difficulty balance. Shredder's Revenge only has 3 difficulty settings, and I was disappointed with the hardest one. There's no added enemies. They just have extra HP, a ton of extra HP on the bosses, feels like 5 times as much. I think an in-between difficulty would do well, as the default setting is too much on the other end of the spectrum. Like, you take very little damage on normal mode and bosses die fast, like very fast. The difficulty also makes the enemies more aggressive. You'll see purple footmen just punching you as soon as possible, while I would have liked maybe some movement on their end, circling the player, walking back and the like. But I'm not saying that the game is too tough on hard mode. The gnarly difficulty in arcade mode isn't too tough of a goal for a player with beat-em-up experience, and I'm currently working on a run without taunting. If you can stray away from the wrong criticism that professional critics are giving out, or from just blindly praising what is still a very good game, then our collective voice as a beat-em-up enjoyer will be heard. And even if the game will not get better, the next one will be. We only have a few shots, so play the game, enjoy it. A balance patch might get out. Keep this attitude for new beat-em-ups. Let's save the genre together. Now, because you like the Ninja Turtles so much, I am sure you should watch this video next. Ciao.